The Chancellor preparing for her moment, no doubt feeling the pressure as she puts the finishing touches to a spending review that Labour hopes will reset its relationship with voters losing the faith.
I will set out a spending review targeted squarely on the renewal of Britain, focused on the priorities of working people, by investing in our security, in our health and in our economic growth.
The Chancellor at a bus depot in Rochdale to announce £15 billion for trams, trains and buses across the Midlands and the North, all in a bid to tell a better economic story for Britain and take reform head on.
When Liz Truss and the Conservatives trashed market confidence in our British economy, it was working people who paid the price. Be in no doubt, Nigel Farage and Reform are itching to repeat that exact same experiment, to pursue those fantasy economics all over again.
But reform not her only fight. Reeves battling with her own side too, as Labour MPs press the Chancellor to raise taxes or relax her borrowing rules rather than cut government spending. In Rochdale, she's standing firm as the Labour left look on.
Strong and transparent fiscal rules are an indispensable safeguard for working people, and that is why my rules are non-negotiable.
But something her MPs did want to hear, confirmation that more pensioners will qualify for winter fuel payments this year.
People should be in no doubt that the means test will increase and people will get, more people will get winter fuel payment this winter.
Chancellor, in the past 2 weeks, voters have heard about big increases in defence spending, a reversal of cuts to winter fuel allowance, potentially lifting the 2-child benefit cap, and they wonder how you're going to pay for all of these additional commitments. Can you be honest with the public that you cannot rearm and do all the rest on welfare with either really deep cuts elsewhere or future tax rises?
Well, I'm not going to write another 4 years' worth of budgets before we've got even through the first year of this government. But we made tax changes in the autumn last year worth £40 billion so that we could provide that injection of cash into our public services. But the most important thing that we can do to have money for public services is to grow the economy.
Listening to all of this, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, I spoke to him earlier, and he, like Angela Rayner, backs targeted tax increases.
I'd come up with something that can be controversial, but council tax has not been revalued since the early 90s. So I would look at reforms in that space. In fact, I would look further at land taxation and land taxation reform. We've overtaxed people's work and we've undertaxed people's assets and wealth.
The Conservatives clear the Chancellor's last round of tax hikes already hurting.
A government that has come in, loaded up taxes on businesses, depressed growth, borrowed and taxed and spent like it's the 1970s all over again, stoking inflation, keeping interest rates higher for longer. If you adopt that approach, you end up in a really difficult position.
The Chancellor came here to Rochdale to try and sell a story to voters across the Red Wall that this Labour government will invest in their communities. And next week, the Chancellor's going to announce over £100 billion in capital spending, investing in transport networks, in new homes, in new power stations. But if that's the sell, here's the sting. Day-to-day spending is going to be squeezed, be it on the police or on schools or local councils. There are going to be spending cuts, and that is going to be politically fraught, contested and unpopular. The Chancellor wants to frame next week as the moment Labour begins to rewire the economy for working people. But with more spending cuts on the way, it's proving difficult for Labour to argue things are getting better. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Rochdale.